and welcome to ManCave Conversations Season 5. My name is Season 4. My name is Dr. Cheryll Holmes, and I am your host for this evening. I have the privilege of once a year getting a car that allows me to get into the man cave and the man talk like if I'm not there. And this is one of the greatest experiences. I don't agree with everything that they say, but once we have 1 or 2 or 3, 4 men saying the same thing, I have to be wise and agree. Tonight we have some men who are going to bring it on. They're lethal when they're together, and this is gonna be chaotic in a positive way once we have these 3 together. Then we want to remind you to sign up for our life coaching and relationship coaching, as well as our couples retreat, which is going to be in Orlando, Florida. I don't want to. Because time goes so quickly when I'm with these guys. I'm going to bring up the first person who's going to be our guest on tonight. He causes the most problems, I think. Help me welcome Bruce. Hi, Bruce. How you doing?
Hey, Doc. Hey, Doc. I'm ready to roll. Let's do it.
I know. I'm gonna, and we're talking about the alpha man. So that should be very interesting. I heard alpha men have a month that's coming up real soon. I don't know how they got a whole month, but bless the Lord. All right, let's see what Charles has to say. Let's bring Charles up. Charles,
yes.
Are you gonna behave today when you're in the room with Bruce?
Yes, I'm going to try to behave today.
Okay. Are you going to behave good or bad? Which one can we expect?
It depends. I'll find the middle ground somewhere.
All right. And then joining you guys is the hopefully, you know what? I think today we're going to call him Rev. We're going to call him Reverend Jason. And maybe he behaved. Maybe if we call him Rev, he's going to be Reverend. Hello, Pastor Jay. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, Dr. Holmes?
Are you ready for this?
I think so.
All right. So, okay, you guys. All right. When you guys come together, it's crazy. Let's bring Bruce up. Today, we've heard a whole lot about this alpha man.
Yes.
It seems like he always existed, but during the pandemic, he showed up big and strong. Who is this alpha man, and why the heck is he causing so much havoc in our lives? I want to talk to Bruce first because Bruce has a whole month set aside for this alpha. Who is he and why should we care?
I think you should talk to the quarterback first.
All right. Okay. Okay.
Jay, the quarterback in the team. You got to let the quarterback.
Jay. Oh, okay. All right. He tossed it over to you, Jason. So, what's the deal?
The alpha male has always been around. I think the pandemic just created a moment for the creativity, the intuition, and the necessity of the man to be seen again like it's never been seen before. Because this pandemic kind of forced all of us to tap into a deeper reservoir within ourselves of what and who we are. And so I don't think it's just like he just showed up out of nowhere. I think society has kind of squashed the role of the man and kind of made everything equal per se, except when it comes time for blame. We're equal in everything except when it comes time to take responsibility and accountability. And that's my issue with it, because for me, I don't, even though the scriptures do say that the man is the head, of the house. I'm smart enough to know that my wife is the one that makes my house work. I'm just there as the husband, the one that bands everything together, the one that provides and protects. And what I give her, she turns it into something else. I don't have that ability. I don't have that patience, nor do I have that mindset to be that creative and that understanding to take something that looks like nothing and make it this whole big thing. So, unlike the chauvinistic mindset that was, I'm in charge, that's a foolish man.
Stop talking about Bruce.
Listen, I love Bruce. Bruce know I love him. But I don't think we're in the season or the moment anymore where we have to beat our chest. I think your actions will generate the response and the respect that every man desires. You can't have demands when you're not fulfilling demands. It's just not possible.
Okay. So Charles, are there any other kind of man out there? So are men alpha man or no man or
alpha male or no man? I mean, you hear the term the beta male. You hear all types of ways about it. I mean, put it this way: you have the guy who's the alpha male. He's take charge in all that he does. He's going to assert his manliness as he deems, right? And then you have we all see the guys that their significant others or their partners take that role. And he's there as a male in body, but he's not acting male-ish, if you get my drift. He's kind of being led about by the horns. And so, I think, we all can look at it this way. Does he have to be alpha to be defined as a man, right? He can be confident enough and say, listen, I'm a man. I'm going to do the manly responsibilities assigned to me. I'm going to go about being this type of man in life, and that's that. Like Pastor Henderson said, if you get stuck in the title of it, it can shine a different light on you, and it'll begin to point out, okay, is this alpha or is it insecurity? Which is it? Because sometimes that's what it is. Sometimes when you're extreme left, you're trying to take the attention off what's on the extreme right, which is insecurity. So, we have to say to ourselves, it's all about when you're walking in the kinship of man, you have to first walk in the confidence of who you are, regardless of how someone else sees you. Just be comfortable in your skin, as a man.
So is an alpha man ever insecure?
Of course. I mean, if he's honest, he's a man. He's a man. Think about this. Think about when you see these Roman Empire movies where you have this one man, he's in charge, he can click a finger and someone's killed and all these things, and he has this power out in front. But then behind closed doors, where he's most vulnerable amongst those he's allowed that type of access to, see him that way. A real alpha male is not going to let anyone see him vulnerable, just anyone. He's very select about who he allows to see his inner hinder part, so to speak. He's not going to let anyone have that access. Yeah.
Bruce, would an alpha man ever experience Delilah?
Come on, Bruce.
Hey,
would he allow himself to ever experience a Delilah?
That's what produced a lot of alpha men, having an experience with Delilah very young, and making some determinations to become the best version of themselves, so they wouldn't be subject to that type of experience again.
Yeah.
But is all of the experience with Delilah bad?
The outcome, yeah.
The outcome, yes. The process.
Vision.
Can we look at, so there is a place, because what I'm seeing, this man was all alpha. I mean, he had the strength, he had the influence, he had the means, he had all of that. I was going to say what I thought he was lacking, but what do you think he was lacking? What was he searching for? We're not going to go to the outcome. We know how it ended. But what is that alpha man looking for from Delilah?
What is the alpha man looking for from Delilah?
Yeah.
Affirmation.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
He's looking for that.
That's what all men are looking for.
Yeah, for sure. If they're honest.
So the alpha man is okay to put his head on her lap, which to me is the most vulnerable place for a man, because a woman has access to kill him.
Yeah.
The alpha man needs to put his head on her lap.
Right.
That's why many don't get that opportunity. That's why she has to have a particular mentality for us to trust her enough to put our heads on her lap. But we definitely need to put our head on our lap because we need a reprieve.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Pastor. I do want to say real quick that the rhetoric of the alpha talk may be boisterous or strong, but within the relationship, there is humility.
How are we getting to relationship if you come over like, well, you know how many people say, is Bruce really like that? You know, it's like,
yeah, Bruce really is.
but even with Bruce, Dr. Holmes, you have to remember when you're first getting into a relationship with anybody, no one sends the real them.
Correct.
Bruce can present that he's this tough guy and he's this, but trust me, the right situation comes that will break him down and open up a space in Bruce and me and Charles that nobody else will be able to get to. But that comes with work, because alpha men are not, I don't want to say easy, but we have that chauvinistic side of us that makes us feel like this is what the expectation of me is, and I'm not going to just give my vulnerability to anybody. Because every man, the reason why Delilah was successful, because she tapped into something that Samson and every last one of us needs: affirmation. And she stroked his ego, got him to the point where this is how powerful women are. Women don't know this, but they think that the most powerful tool they have is their vagina. No, it's the words that you speak to a man. She was able to get Samson to go against God and his mother and father, against years of tradition to go and mess with her, all because she provided him a space of comfort. Because any alpha man that's about something, Samson had attention, he had strength, everybody's eyes was on him. That's a lot of pressure, and you need a space where none of that matters anymore. So Delilah tells him, oh, come, lay down, strokes his head, and then builds him right back up. She's playing seesaw with his emotions, and men love that. Because I love to be vulnerable, but I also love for you to make me feel like I'm Superman.
Yeah.
And at that moment where he was at his weakest, she got him. And that's what happens to a lot of alpha men. They don't know how to deal with receiving affirmation, but not getting caught in the web of the affirmer.
Yeah, because he misjudged her intent. Yeah. That's where the issue came with. She had the wrong intent. And so what most of us men need to realize is that most of us become the sum total of the woman we allow access to our ear. Whoever speaks into us, that's if a woman has a specific role or place in your life and you're trusting her and you're an alpha guy and she's always in your ear feeding you, over time, you will materialize as to what she's speaking to you. You'll notice it. And so, and another reason why the ideal woman is so important to an alpha male is because she serves as the charging post for him. It's where he goes to put the phone on the dock. He goes and sits on the dock with her. He's like, okay, I can trust you. I can kind of decompress. I don't have to be Superman. I can be Clark Kent with you. So I don't want to be Superman all day. I want to be able to disrobe. So the problem is, finding that person who can accept you in those capacities.
How do you find her? Because initially she is attractive. You know what? I want to go back to the alpha man. I want to go back to this alpha man. And so Bruce, we have alpha men and we have beta men. Are there other kinds of men?
Of course.
Yeah.
According to these people who's coming up with these terms, there's all type. All up and down the Greek alphabet, Delta, Sigma.
Delta, Sigma, Beta.
Yeah, all types of
to me, maybe it's the way I was raised, along with, how I view some things or how I interpret some things from the word. But she has to come to me. Remember, I'm the one with the issue. She got to come to me with a little bit more than just her talk. She has to prove it to me. To me, she has got to earn her place in my life. She just can't sweet talk me. She got to work talk me.
And how, pray tell, does she do that? Work talk you?
That she has to back up everything she says. For example, I'll give you an example really quickly. I was dating this young lady, and we would get together like at the end of the week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, spend time together, right? Maybe like a month or 2 months or maybe 3 months have gone by, and I realized that every time we're together, we're in a restaurant. We're constantly eating, right? And But she said to me, if we were to go to this next level and we would get married or whatever, I would cook for you all the time. I would take care of you and so on and so forth. But I'm saying to myself in the back of my mind, sister, I haven't seen you cook anything yet.
Right.
First of all, for yourself. Before you even get to me, I haven't seen you cook anything yet. So that's a small example. I need to see you walk out your talk in your life as it relates to mine.
All right, I'm going to pull the covers. I want you, Bruce, to tell me about a time that you cried outside of, we know that both you and Charles suffered the loss of your son, and our condolences to you both. But outside of that, tell me about a time a woman made you cry. Has it ever happened? Not your mother.
Yeah, I've cried several times in every relationship that I've been in, Doctor.
Wait, hold on. Let me listen with the next air, because I thought I heard you say you cried. Okay, let's try this air.
I cry in every relationship that I've been in when we've shared, moments of intimacy, or we could be watching a movie or something and I'll cry. It's not about being an ogre, Doc. It's not about being a steel horse or something. All that's illusion. We are human. We have feelings. It's just about it's about principles of I don't want to say power, but principles of power and strength and dominating your world, your existence. Like Pastor Jay says, how his wife makes him a home, but he said that he is the band, he is the covering. He dominates his environment. But of course, you can't do it alone. You need your woman to create it and enhance it for you. However, my position is significant, and I hold that position without being subject to manipulation, domination, or intimidation from the nature of my woman or anyone else in that environment.
Are there alpha women and are alpha men? I saw the facial expression. Are alpha men, Pastor J, attracted to alpha women?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I know I'm not.
What would you consider an alpha woman?
A woman that goes too far.
What? That ends it all. You don't even have anywhere else to go after that.
Yeah, I think that it's okay for you to be independent It's okay for you to make your own money. In some cases, you can make more money than me. That's going to be difficult, but it can be done. But in that case, don't allow your success to taint your submission. And I think that's what happens with alpha women. The more successful they become, they lose the art form of submission. And submission, we need to start teaching this as well. It's not a curse word. It's something that, according to the scriptures, we must do on both sides. Notice I said we must do. We must submit ourselves one to another. And because of the way society has everything cloaked and just pushing a whole nother agenda, it's like trying to get rid of men at large. And you can't do that because it goes against the order of God, you know, and I think that's what we have to start getting back to when it gets to all of this. What was the intent for the family from the mind of God? Anytime you're dealing with a creation, you should always consult the creator. And that's what we're not doing. We're allowing what the popular colloquialisms are to label us, what societies is saying to label us. No, let's go back to the one that started this whole thing. What was his intent? And if we're operating outside of his intent, then all of us are out of order, period, point blank.
So, Alpha, you said something that you may hear me use. I'll give you credit for the first 3 times, and then after that, I'll just pretend I said it myself. You said, I think I could just preach a sermon on this. Don't let your success steal your submission. Oh my gosh, that's good. That's real good. Because, that's real. That has so much.
You know what happens, Dr. Holmes? When you're dealing with men of influence, men of success, when you're the woman in my life that allows your success to taint submission, you open up the avenue for infidelity.
All right.
Because I'm not fighting with you. Wow. I'm the man. If you want to be the man, then you need to go get another chick, and you could be the man there, but you're not going to be the man in this relationship. Especially when you're dealing with a sapiosexual male that wants to bring the best out of you from an intellectual standpoint, that's not just caught up in the hips, lips, and fingertips. I'm not trying to be you. I don't want to compete with you. Our job is actually to complete one another. But when you lose the art of submission, infidelity is going to happen. Wow. Because there's going to be another young lady that sees this BMW, this black man working, and going to say, you know what? I could do something with him. And there's only so many times, I don't care how anointed you are, how saved you are, how hikamashandia, all that you do, right. That when you're not getting that natural fulfillment as a man, right. You're not going to keep saying no. And it doesn't even have to be physical. You'll start to entertain infidelity from a conversational perspective. Mm-hmm. And we all know that most of our action starts with the conversation, whether it be with ourselves or somebody else. So the alpha woman thing, I know it sounds good, but it's not what God wants.
And, all right, Charles, anything on the alpha woman? Charles, Bruce, anything on the alpha woman? Does she exist?
Oh, of course she exists. She's
and she's lonely.
Yes.
Oh.
And here's the thing. It's just my opinion that most alpha women that you see out here in operation, they have been let down by a male, and so maybe more than a few times, and so they've realized that in the process of being vulnerable and being let down or whatever the case, they also have a dominant side of their personality that they could use alongside with their persona, their looks, their job, whatever that comes with that. Because most women know if you're a sought after woman and you could lead calmly initially, but if you know you have the guy panting, most men panting at you, once you put those hooks in them, you can begin to maneuver as you deem. And I think this is where most men we fall to that.
Okay, Bruce, the alpha woman. If you love me, you will do what I say.
Wow.
I think a lot of alpha women exist in their own head. To me, the so-called alpha woman, so-called, is a woman who operates in her masculinity to the extent that it drowns out her femininity. She can have on a Balenciaga dress and still be too masculine. She can have 9 degrees and still be too masculine. And for any man, especially a man who walks with God, that's not going to cut it. You know, God presents himself as masculine. Balanced, yes. This does not mean overbearing or abusive or talking rough to her. Nothing like that at all. Nothing like that at all. The alpha man is a man of God who walks with the humility and the love that Christ has shed in his heart, that he gives out. However, as a man of God, he also understands order. And we believe God, so I don't believe that there's a alpha female.
Okay, so is the woman, are we saying that if the woman has an opinion, she is masculine?
No. As a man, we need our woman's opinion. Our woman, our wife, she should have the number 2 voice in our lives. She has that position of influence, but she has to keep it balanced. She has to keep it humble. She has to know order. God, man, woman.
The only time alpha men enjoy alpha women is in the bedroom.
Right.
That's it. That spirit is it's not beneficial to me in any other area of my life.
Wow.
Other than the bedroom.
Okay. Wow. So here's a question. I know all of you are men of God. My question to you is, was Adam an alpha man?
No.
No.
Absolutely not.
He's God's man, though.
That's why God cursed him. That's why he was cursed, because he hearkened to Eve's voice.
Wow.
Hearkened, he listened to do. He listened to Eve and did what she said.
Any thoughts on that before I comment? So God cursed him and made him an alpha man? So can we pull from that analogy that an alpha man is a product of the curse? Just like Cain to
Adam
the woman.
started off alpha. He started off alpha. He had dominion over everything.
And he lost his alpha-ism.
The curse redefined the alpha male, because he was alpha from the beginning, because he had, like Bruce said, he had dominion over everything. But once that God, and you got to look, the only thing that God created and looked at and said wasn't good was man. He said the trees, the birds, that's good, everything. But when he looked at us in our state of loneliness, that's not good. But it was still up to Adam to obey the original charge, and he did not do that. He allowed Eve to get him to go against God. And again, we see that all through the scriptures. Women have the ability to break down a man that had direct communication with God. It wasn't through a priest, it wasn't through a pastor, it wasn't through going in behind the veil. He walked with God in the cool of the day, and still, once that woman got in his ear, disobeyed God. That's why it's important as men, like Charles said, that we protect our ear gate, because what they speak, we will begin to believe. And whatever we believe, we will begin to behave. And whatever we behave produces results. And if you're going against the original command of God, the results will never be in your favor.
You know, I'll muddy the waters on Adam's behalf, right? I think Adam, like, so Bruce, myself, Jason, we have peers. Even forget about what the women think. We have male peers that can support our alpha position. They'll be like, my man Bruce, that's my man Bruce. They're constantly reaffirming what you think about yourself. Adam didn't have anyone. He just had dominion, but he didn't have anyone to measure that against. He was just, and so he looked at his who God added to his kingdom in Eve, and perhaps he was captured by her. He was like, oh, I love that he gave me her. Yeah.
Bamboozled.
And so when she spoke into him, I think his first mind was not to entertain deceit. He just said, she's telling me to eat the apple. She loves me. Like many of us. Hey, don't get it twisted. Many alpha men fall, right? They all fall at the sight of who they deem to be queenship and beauty in their eyes. You know, maybe he can ward off others, but there's going to be that one person or a few that have that access to them. And that will make him, that will put him in the realm of becoming vulnerable. And if once a man is vulnerable, he's unpredictable at that point.
Into theology a little bit, just tip in there a little bit. I'm trying to think about a man, because when God describes himself, he says, I'm the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And well, Jacob, we know, Jacob is interesting that he did not say, I'm the God of Israel after changing the name. And Jacob seemed to be the alpha of the two personalities there. But I'm trying to see Abraham, Moses, who outside of Peter, who we might say, and Peter came from the world, and he may have got his alphaism from the world. But tell me about a man in scripture that you would define as alpha.
David.
Paul.
Jehoshaphat.
Jehoshaphat, okay.
Job.
Plenty.
You think Job was? Well, yeah, okay. Yeah, I see that. I can see that.
Peter was about their life. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he was just out there. But I'm thinking as it relates.
He checked his woman.
Right. As it relates, yeah, he did check her. As it relates to that, because what I'm wondering is if Adam was alpha, he lost it in the fall. When did he get it back?
That's
scripture doesn't suggest that he ever did.
Right. So is it that Calvary is all about the beta man as opposed to the alpha man? Because you guys, here's the thing. At that point, there's no restoration. Unless we are looking at the scripture, because still, even after Isaac, that command to rule and reign is still there. But I'm not seeing, in terms of relationship, I'm seeing Jacob as he works with Rachel and Leah. I'm not seeing the strength. I'm seeing the strength when it comes to Leah. I'm not seeing the strength when it comes to Rachel. I'm not seeing him standing up as strong. So can the alpha man be alpha for one woman and be beta for another?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yes. I submit that I believe that the majority of men that exist on this planet today are beta men. That's why masculinity is being has been under such attack. And while the role reversal seems to be working pretty well, masculinity is waning out because of the beta man. The beta man does not relate to his woman from a position of power. So yes, I believe that after the fall of Adam, that most men are beta men. You have to learn to become the best version of yourself. You have to walk with God. A Charles Dixon, a Pastor Jason, you don't see these men out here on a regular basis. At our age, how many men have we come across in our lives that we could sit down, have a conversation with, and have the response or the result that we would have from a Pastor J or a Charles Dixon?
But if
it's not many men out here that like that.
But if you guys are saying that an alpha man can be a beta man based on who he's with, is this a sustained characteristic across the board, or is he now changing into different environment? Does a woman, what role does the woman play in terms of that? Because like the example with Jacob, he's very, very strong when it comes to Leah, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. But Rachel has him literally eating out of the palm of his hand. Even down, when you read the scripture, even when he's going to meet his brother, what he does is that he puts the handmaidens and then Leah, and then he keeps Rachel all the way close to him. The whole idea of Joseph and his brother is because of his love for Rachel. How does a man, he comes now. The reason the brothers didn't like him, like Joseph, is because of who his mama was.
I think it was just his preference. He preferred her. That's who, on all fronts.
Okay.
He was attracted to her. He preferred her. He desired her, all those things. And so he was willing to relinquish to the beta male in order to acquire it. He felt like, I don't need to have this war with her. I want her. So I'm going to defer to the beta self to obtain her.
So inside of the alpha man is beta, delta, sigma, all of that. Yeah. In the man.
Yeah, you're not just one in all things. You have these characteristics within you. It just, like Bruce said, it depends which one you choose to defer to. Bruce says, look, I'm standing at the higher end of the alpha chain, and that's where I'm sitting. But if any time he wanted to falter, he could. Right?
And it also has to do with environment too, because growing up where I grew up from, if you put me in a corporate America setting, I'm going to have one personality.
Okay.
You put me in a hood.
Yeah.
I'm talking like, yo, what's popping, my dude? You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
right. Okay. Okay.
I'm just going to flip like that.
Right.
But that doesn't define who I am. That's my ability to adapt to the environment. And it is survival instincts, because Jacob did that because he thought Esau was going to kill him.
Yeah.
He really thought his brother was going to kill him. And he said, I'm going to just send my brother all this money, all these gifts, the woman and children. Just to try to calm him down. So that wasn't him becoming beta to me. That was survival. Like, yo,
you did what you had to do.
I did something that deserves death. Let me try to soften the blow so I can live another day.
But I wish we had time to go into that story, because here's this love story. And this is what I don't understand. And from a woman's perspective, right? So we know the story, but I want you to envision that he's going there, and like Pastor Jay says, he sends the servant first with the gifts and all of that. And he says if that doesn't work for him, he has Leah's handmaiden,
right,
and her children. And if that doesn't appease him, then he has what's her name, Leah, and then he has Rachel's people, her handmaiden and whatever else. In the mind of Leah, because she has all of these, when we look at the 12 tribes, she has all these children for him, sons. But he is in love with this woman. He's sleeping with one, and he is willing to sacrifice that woman that he slept with, who gave him all these children, all of that for the love of his life. And that is not a whole other show. Yeah, that's like real crazy, because she has, out of the 12, Leah has 10. She gave him 10 children. She gave him all these, and Judah and all of those people come from Leah. In fact, if you do the history, go ahead, Pastor Jay.
Desire and assignment don't always intertwine.
Ooh, you're preaching, sir. You're preaching.
So the assignment was with the one that was able to produce. Assignment is never assigned to barren people.
Jesus.
Yeah.
If God gave you an assignment, it's because he knows you have the ability to produce. The one that was barren was desire. And that's because a lot of times we operate from an ocular perspective. We're not looking at what we need to be looking at. We're looking at what we want to look at. She was more desired because the scripture says Leah was tender-eyed. She was cross-eyed.
Yes. And she looked like a gazelle. Yes, like a gazelle.
But she was the one that was able to produce destiny.
Yeah.
Rachel wasn't until later on.
Yeah.
And sometimes we as men have to understand what I want may not be for my assignment. Woo. What I desire may not be for my assignment. And the alpha male is able to walk away from what he wants to produce what he needs.
Ooh, I need your cash app, brother.
Pastor J. Hen. Pastor J.
Dr. Cheryl, if you remember the movie Heart of Nights, right? Remember that part where the mobster guy, how they set him up with Sunshine.
Richie.
So Sunshine presented to him something he recognized he was lacking. And so it got so to the point where he sat there. I mean, she played him to the point where he called his wife. He called his assignment and told her, I'm not coming home because of desire. And he stayed there, even though it didn't work out for him. But the point was he was willing to risk it for something he was desiring. So, yeah.
And are we on the same page that or you guys tell me, where should he lean? Should he lean to assignment or should he lean to desire?
He should lean to assignment. Because at the end of the day, that's what he's going to have to answer for.
But sometimes assignment is not as cute, has cross-eyed, doesn't have the hips and all that stuff. Assignment might be.
I would pray that God anoints somebody that got both.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, for
you
sure.
You have not because you ask not.
or he needs to communicate his desires in a way that with the assignment to see if he can prune it to be what Pastor Jay is saying.
But I don't think you can, because that's what a lot of people would do, and we have to close up. But that's what a lot of people do. They try to make the assignment be like the desire or vice versa. But it's two different. Racial is racial, and
I'm just of the belief that there has to be a middle ground for that, or else it would appear, we would marry and connect for assignment and then cheat for desire. I don't think that's perfect.
Listen,
that's what's been going on.
Okay.
The real alpha male can teach anybody anything.
Correct. That's my point. That's my point.
Okay.
But we have to remember, as alpha men, with that ability, and it's a God-given gift.
Yeah.
The grass is never greener on the other side.
That's it.
And we as men tend to water desire.
Ooh,
and
more so than
assignment.
Ooh, man, that's it. That's true.
Because desire is more fun. Desire pops off
more
anywhere,
risky, more
anytime.
risky.
It don't matter. She down anything. While assignment is sitting at home, sometimes looking like our grandmother. But it's only because we have not watered. We have not watered the assignment.
Yeah, that's it. Ooh,
you can get the same results.
Yeah,
it's all about where you water.
Yeah, what you do. Right?
Ladies, welcome back to season 2 of She Shed with Dr. Cheryll Holmes. We are going deeper and deeper this season, exposing myths, telling the truth, and getting to the heart of the matter. So we look forward to seeing you this season, October 4th through October 15th. Pull up a chair, grab your boo, and let's get down and do the do.
All right, so we got to wrap up. Let's get final words. Let's go. Final words from Charles Dixon. We'll take everybody.
Class got me messed up over here, man.
Oh man. So here's my thought, Pastor Cheryl. At the end of the day, from my perspective, there's really only two types of men. There's a man that's about his word and making good on that, and one that's not. An alpha with no production is just a man. So we have to, sometimes we get away from some of these labels and just get more into the action of what and who we are as men, and let that be our guide. And I know that as men, when it comes to relationships and being alpha men, one of our biggest struggles is separating the perception of submission from obedience. I think some women stray away from quote unquote alpha men because they think the alpha man is requiring obedience when he's just desiring submission. That's all.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds just about right. Charles, we know you're going to be back. This was a really, really great. Pastor Jay, let's get final words from you.
I think it's important that we as men understand the difference between a parasite and a partner. Parasites view your weakness as a reason to leave. Partners view your weakness as a reason to stay and to build.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You know what? Tell everyone again your cash out, because listen, this man is working. His working.
$ Pastor JAEHEN.
Okay, that's it. And we're gonna put it in the comments. All right, Bruce, bring us home. What are your final words?
Listen, I don't have no final words, Doc. Jay got my head spinning over here. Woo. Bless the Lord on high. Listen, it took me over 25 years to begin to understand what Pastor Jay just said. The earlier we get this understanding into our male children, the more we infuse that particular understanding in our male children, we can have a little bit more confidence in our future generations that the families of the future generations will be on purpose. Again, I say that even though my words come across as strong, the environment that I grew up in has shaped me for them not to come across any other way but strong. If that's good or bad, I don't know. However, the alpha man is God's man. He walks with God. He talks with God. He gets his affirmation from his creator. And he has that love of God that is shed abroad in his heart that he gives to males and females. But when it comes to his woman, it's not about being an overlord. It's not about being an ogre or a slave master. It's being a man of purpose, a man of humility, who his yeses are his yeses and his no's are his no's. And that alpha man is just not manipulated by anything less than the standard of God. That's it.
Listen, this has been, you guys just blew my mind. This has been really, really, really good. We hear so many of these words. We hear so many of these words being thrown around, and hopefully we got a good insight into that, whatever that is. I think our takeaway, my takeaway, one of the biggest takeaways today is don't let your success steal your submission. Don't let your success steal your submission. Ladies, we're listening. We may not agree about everything in the man cave, but we gotta agree today that this was good. All right, until tomorrow night, we'll see you again. Thank you so much for sharing this time with us, and see you on tomorrow night.